Yeah. It's Big C. Fin Posse Podcast in the building. If you hating on the Fins, turn this up louder. I grew up on Shula. Chalk lines, cold rain, Marino in the pocket, dropping dimes, pure flame. 7-2 perfect, you can't say a thing back. Undefeated on your head, living rent-free fact. Jason Taylor off the edge, helmets turn to skyward. Zach thumping chests, every hit like a siren. You talking about rings, get your history straight. We the reason that the word perfect holds weight. It's that Fin Posse, Rage, turn the volume up. Hey, slick on Miami, you'll get called out tough. From the Orange Bowl ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse, Rage, put respect on the name. Big C on the mic, lighting lanes in the flame. This the Fin Posse Rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. If you talking about the Fins, better get that story right. Yeah, Larry C. Sonka in the mud, blood on his mouthpiece. Ricky in the backfield, making whole crowd screech. Wake off the snap count, quarterbacks daydreaming. By the time they look up, all they see is teal streaming. You forgot about Grease, you forgot about Twilly, you forgot Nat Moore. Going up, getting silly from Marino to a lineage, same jersey. We've been airing that thing out since before you that 30. Posse, Rage, turn the volume up. Y'all slick on Miami, you get called out tough. From the Orange Bowl ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse, Rage, put respect on the name. Big C on the mic, lighting lanes in the flame. This the Fin Posse Rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. If you talking about the Fins, better get the story right. This for the diehards, slamming doors on the loss. This for the old heads still quoting Shula talk. This for the kids wearing jerseys in June, waiting all year just to scream in the room. It's that Fin Posse Rage, turn the volume up. Talk slick on Miami, you'll get called out tough. From the Orange Bowl ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse Rage, put respect on the name. Big C in the crew, let them drown in the shame. It's the Fin Posse Rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. Fin Posse Podcast, get the Dolphin story right. Woo! Get the Dolphin story right. Woo! Get the Dolphin story right. Yeah. Check it. From the 305 to the world. Big C on the mic. Welcome to the inner circle. You know what it is. Yeah. Clock hits noon, ready for the breakdown. Big C stepping up, holding down the town. The Fin Posse Podcast, yeah, we talking shop. Fresh off the field, never gonna stop. For the fans, by the fans, that's the code. Every single snap, every yard on the road. We dissect the stats, every gain, every loss. Breaking down the tape, checking every cross. Fins up, hold it high to the sky. Hard hitting talk, no need for a lie. From the trenches to the end zone, we keep it true. The Fin Posse, yeah, we waiting for you. Fins up, let the rivals all see. It's the daily grind, it's the podcast, it's Big C. Yeah. Keep it locked, Fins up. Big C. Posse move. Word.
What up, Fin fans? Welcome to another episode of the Fin Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Little C. How is everyone doing this beautiful day? Little C got that Dolphin news, that Dolphin hookup for you this morning. How y'all doing? Let's go to the chat and say our good mornings real quick before we get into day 4 recap for the Miami Dolphins. First day of training camp open to the fans. Today's a big day for Dolphins training camp because the pads are finally coming on and we finally get an idea and we'll get to see what's really up with our offense and defensive line. This is a huge day for Dolphins football. We get to see all about this offensive line that we have such high hopes for. We get to see how our young defensive line, a lot of second-year guys, see how they've progressed from year 1 to year 2. So I'm super excited for that. But let's say our good mornings real quick in the chat. Get that out the way. Dean, good morning. Slim, good morning. Lombardo, good morning. Michael K, good morning. Welcome to the fake fans. Absolutely. With the fake fans over here. We the fake fans. Uh Glenn, good morning. Day one, good morning. Huey, good morning. What up, Marcos? What you change your name up with uh what's behind that name change, Marcos? What's up with the name change? So again, I'm gonna here in a few minutes, I'll send out the link and we'll have an opportunity to hear from you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share. Again, I'm not gonna get into the. I'm not even gonna allow it to entertain my mind anymore or to take up any more of my time. The situation that's happened the last few days. But I would like it to be a little more organized. It's not going to be a free for all, you know. And I want to have people up here. I want to get their opinions on certain subjects, but I want it to be organized. I don't want it to just everybody screaming, talking over each other. That's not. I don't feel like that's good listening. I don't think a lot gets accomplished that way. You know, someone yelling their opinion, the other person yelling their opinion, and nobody can hear what's going on. I'm just not for it. So everybody keep calm, allow people to talk, make sure you don't have background noise. That's a huge issue. Make sure you allow other people to speak their opinions, and let's have a great show. I want to give everybody their opportunity to talk and say what's on their mind, and just keep it friendly. We're all Dolphin fans at the end of the day, and I think hopefully we all want the same things. Maybe we see things differently, but we all want the same things. Good morning, Miller, and shout out to Miller. I got to say this because a lot of people aren't real. A lot of people aren't real, and I kind of seen that the other day, because I thought someone that was a friend of the show, kind of did a little two-faced thing to get on someone's good side, but it's all right. Miller went out of his way to, when nobody was looking, do the right thing and look out for me. So I appreciate Miller 100%. Miller's a real dude. Maybe I don't agree with Miller's takes a lot, but you can tell how good of a person is and what type of person a person is by what they do when they don't think anybody's looking, right? And I was sitting in them comments and I was watching the show, and my boy Miller didn't know that I was there. He didn't know that I was there because I hadn't said anything. And he completely 100% had my back, and I appreciate that, Miller, 100%. Because a lot of people ain't like that. You know what I mean? A lot of people ain't like that. Michael K says it's great when a creator gives his expert analysts on how great a team looked only for the coach to come out after and say the team was running at about 50%. Hey, it is what it is. If you wanna have your glass half full, that's cool. You know what I mean? I get you wanting this team to be good. I get you wanna any little thing gets you excited. Any little thing triggers your hopium. But when you start calling other fans out for being fake because they don't see things the way that you do, I find that kind of crazy. I find that kind of crazy. I did, and I'm gonna address this, and I'm gonna leave it alone after that. I did get on and make a podcast after a certain somebody he called me a fake fan. He can deny it and say that, oh, he wasn't talking about me, but he called me a fake fan. He absolutely did. If you watch the first 10 minutes of that podcast, he called me a fake fan. And I did get on here, and I did let my emotions go a little bit, and I did probably, I probably shouldn't have did that. I did kind of come hard, and I did shoot shots. I did do that. Do I think a lot of people that go on that show and give their takes are delusional and absolutely crazy? Absolutely. And I'm sorry if you think that applies to you. I don't think everybody that goes up there, first and foremost, everybody that goes up there isn't delusional. Not everybody that goes up there is crazy. I don't think that it's everybody that tunes into that show on a daily basis or contributes to that show on a daily basis are trash. I don't think that. But if you think that the people that I did say were trash, or the takes that I did say were trash, if you think I was talking about you, listen, if the shoe fits, lace that some bitch up and wear that shit. I don't give a damn. Some of y'all are off your rocker. Off your rocker. Jocelyn, you know what I mean? Like, again, I'm addressing it and then I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone from here on out. They can have their takes. I'm going to have mine. We'll see who's right. We'll see who's right. We'll see who's right at the end of the day. And you know what the crazy thing is out of all this? You know what's crazy? I hope they're right. I hope they're right. 100%. I hope they're right. You know why? Because I want this football team to be a Super Bowl contender. I want them to be a playoff team. I want them to win 14 games. I want them I want Caleb Douglas to be a number one receiver. I want Chris Johnson to be a top 10 corner in this league. I want all the same thing. I want all the things that they're talking about. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? So the crazy thing is I'm cheering for these guys. I'm cheering for Pete's take. I'm cheering for the guys that I call delusional. I'm cheering for you guys. I hope and pray every night that you guys are right. I hope that I have to eat it. You know what I mean? I have to eat a piece of humble pie. But at the bottom line, bro, you know, it is what it is. I have faith in the way that I watch football, the way that I break down football, the way that the overall my knowledge of football, I believe, and I stand on what I say. You're never gonna get I'm not gonna be that one to clickbait you. I'm not gonna be that one to exaggerate for likes, for views, for any of that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm never gonna do that. So if you want to hear an honest opinion, not an opinion that's, so crazy that it's got to draw on viewers. If you want the honest truth, my truth at very least, my truth, this is the channel for you. If you don't like what I'm saying, if you can't handle the truth, or at least my truth, because big C, little C, I'm little C. If you can't handle my takes, then I guess this isn't the channel for you. And I don't want to lose subscribers, obviously. You know what I mean? But if I'm not that guy for you, if you can't handle what I got to say, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But let's get into it. I'm going to drop the link here in a second. Listen, Isaiah Smalls has been on the show. He works with Omar Kelly. Omar Kelly has been there a lot of years at the Miami Herald. Isaiah Smalls is under Omar, but they do the same kind of job. You know what I mean? I'm going to bring up what Isaiah Smalls seen from practice yesterday. The first practice opened the fans. Now listen, I could hit you with all the pictures and videos that everybody's already hit you with a million times. You know, I don't find the need to do that. You've already seen each and every one of them. But yeah. So Isaiah Small says day 4 training camp notes. A big day for the offense is 3 players, AJ Henning 2 times, Kevin Coleman Jr., and Tutu Atwell had catches more than 50 yards. Quarterbacks on each deep ball. Henning had one from Hewers and one from Miller. Coleman had one from Hewers, and Atwell had one from Willis. Listen, I'm high on Kevin Coleman Jr. You know, I know that Caleb Douglas is the belle of the ball right now. He's made some plays the first few days of training camp. He continues to have issues dropping the ball though, and I think that is really gonna be a thorn in this guy's side. It's a issue that he's had for. This isn't a 1-year thing. This is a regular thing for Caleb Douglas. He has issues holding onto the ball. But this, by far, Quinn Ewers' best day at camp so far. I think Malik Willis had a decent day, but today was Quinn Ewers' best day at camp. Cornerback Chris Johnson had the only pick of the day, with edge Cameron Good recovering a fumble on a botched snap. That's also been an issue so far in camp, is the Malik Willis and the Aaron Brewers, the snapping issues. Malik's kind of had a history of that throughout his career too. Kind of, not that it's a every game issue, but he had some transfers from the center to the quarterback position issues throughout his career. Now, Tua Tagovailoa, the last quarterback that we had here, he obviously had his own snapping issues. So, it's nothing that I'm overly concerned about, but I would hate for that to cost us in a big game. Tight end Cole Turner made a few contested catches. That's good. Any production we can get from this tight end group as far as receiving goes. Greg Dulcich, I'm high on him. We'll see. Hold on one second. I don't got no water for some reason. My wife just got up. Hold on. Hey, babe, we don't have no water. The water's not working. The water is not working. Sorry about that. Yeah, I went to fill my Keurig machine, and it was working this morning when I got up at 6, and then I went to just fill it, and it's no longer working. So I wanted to let my wife know. Let's go. Defensive line, Kenneth Grant and Zach Sealer combined for at least one run stuff. As we saw last year at times, wide receiver Malik Washington had been used in the run game. Yeah, Malik Washington, they're going to use Malik Washington in a bunch of different ways. Him being in the backfield doesn't surprise me. They're probably going to line him up all over the field. Great to see linebacker Jordan Brooks and Jacob Rodriguez combined for a run stop. Jordan Brooks has been phenomenal throughout camp so far. Super stoked about that. And no tight end Greg Dulcich or offensive line Jameer Saylor. They weren't practicing for whatever reason. But yeah. Let me get back on here. But yeah, the offense definitely, uh, I would say won yesterday. They have 4 passing plays over 50 yards, which is pretty impressive. Henning had 2 of them. The ones coming from Cam Smith, what's that really say? Cam Smith isn't going to play at all this year. Yeah, Michael K, I paid the bill. I paid the bill. I know you think I'm some kind of bum or something that don't pay his bills, but it is what it is. Miller says Quinn's best day, but nobody talking about Cam Miller. What's there to talk about with Cam Miller? Let's be real. Is Cam Miller gonna play? Is Cam Miller gonna be a asset for the Miami Dolphins? Let's be real. So why would you overly talk about Cam Miller? Quinn should be light years ahead with his being second year in the. Yeah, this isn't Mike McDaniel's system. I understand that Bobby Slowick was here with Mike McDaniel last year, but if you think that they're running the same system, yeah, you're absolutely bonkers. Quinn Ewers is just a more polished pocket passer than Malik Willis is, and people just don't want to admit to that. Bonnie, good morning. JD, good morning, brother. I mean, it is what it is. And people don't want to admit that because you can't say anything bad about Malik Willis. But Quinn Ewers is just more of a pocket passer. Is Quinn Ewers a better quarterback than Malik Willis? I wouldn't go that far. I think Malik Willis probably gets the edge. I don't even know that Quinn Ewers has a more talented arm than Malik Willis, because Malik Willis, he can zip it. He can zip it. He can make every throw with the greatest of ease. That ball explodes out. And one thing I like about Quinn Ewers, though, he has a quick release. He has a super quick release. That's something that I noticed last year in them 3 starts that he had. Quinn Ewers gets that ball out quick. He gets that ball out quick. So there's things to like about both of our quarterbacks. And, it's a good thing that we have Quinn Ewers and that Quinn Ewers is continuing to look good. And I know that some people will say, oh, they're battling. This isn't a battle. This is Malik Willis's job. There's no possible way that Quinn Ewers is taking that job unless, of course, injury happens. And we all hope that that's not the case. But again, I think it's a positive thing that both these quarterbacks are playing well. If you got a lot of guys out there with high expectations of Malik Willis's and what he's going to bring to the run game. And if you think Malik Willis is going to run for 500, 600, 700 yards, I'm telling you, there's a high chance, there's a high probability that Malik's going to get hurt. And I don't want that to happen. But if you look at the running quarterbacks in this league, this is a violent sport, folks. It's a violent sport. Look how many games Lamar Jackson's missed throughout his career. Look how often Pat Mahomes is getting hurt now. I mean, these running quarterbacks typically get hurt. Now, Josh Allen's kind of the exception. But Josh Allen's 6'5", 240 pounds. And I guess you could kind of look at Jalen Hurts, but I think Jalen Hurts is a different kind of runner. I think Jalen Hurts is a different kind of runner than what Malik is, than what Lamar is. Obviously, Jalen Hurts, he gets his yards and he's pretty productive in what he does. But I definitely think it's a different type of running. Barrington Arthur says, I thought it was hilarious when Cam was out with the players signing autographs with the main players. I mean, he must have been feeling himself, and good for him. You know what I mean? Good for him. But again, that's why people aren't talking about Cam Miller. And why would you? Cam Miller has zero chances of playing meaningful football this year, unless things go extremely bad for this Miami Dolphins team. He's not going to take Quinn Ewers' job. He's not going to be a top 2 quarterback on this team. So should we really spend a bunch of time talking about our number 3, number 4 quarterback? Let's be real. Slim says Josh Allen is getting older, so luck will be running out. I mean, we have seen glimpses of Josh Allen, the hits catching up to him. Josh Allen took a hell of a hit, and I want to say it was last year where Josh Allen was knocked unconscious. They gave Josh Allen some smelling salts, and he was back in there immediately. But Josh Allen was knocked the hell out. Josh Allen was asleep. He was asleep. Slowick was here last year. He has a tweaked system that he's ended the season on where he was starting. He hasn't looked good at all in camp until yesterday. No chemistry. Quinn Ewers is the only quarterback who should come in and had at least some experience with Slowick and his offense. This wasn't Bobby Slowick's offense last year, Miller. Mike McDaniel was the offensive coordinator. Bobby Slowick just ran guys through the motions of what Mike McDaniel wanted him to do. This offense had nothing to do with Bobby Slowick last year. Yes, he was an employee. Yes, he was on this offense, but he wasn't the one making decisions. So I find very minimal benefit. If there's any benefit of it, it's very minimal. Very minimal. Kyle Lewis had a tackle for loss and a sack yesterday. That's great. Chop Robinson was consistently playing through the block and tightening up the pocket on Malik yesterday. That's good news. Hopefully Chop can, finally break through and become the player that we hope that he can be. A first-round draft pick. I've had high expectations for Chop, so hopefully he can turn into the player that we need him to be, because we need help on that edge. We need to be able to pressure the quarterbacks, and if Chop Robinson can somehow have a 10 to 12 sack season, that would be huge for this Miami Dolphins team. Little C, you'd be better off explaining it to your dog than trying to get Miller to understand. Be nice. Like I said, Miller, Miller, my boy, you know what I mean? I gotta be nice to Miller for at least today. Did Slowick not have any input? Was he not the guy in the helmet mic giving the play call? He was giving the play calls that Mike McDaniel was telling him to give. You think that Mike McDaniel, the offense was his baby. You think he was taking advice from Bobby Slowick? I don't. Why? Like I said, if there's any benefit of Quinn Ewers playing with Bobby Slowick last year, it's very minimal. If anything, I would say that Quinn Ewers should be behind Malik Willis. Malik Willis was with the head coach last year. You're going to tell me that Quinn Ewers, because he was with, the ball boy for the offense last year, should be farther along than the quarterback we brought in that was with the head coach and the general manager in Green Bay? Think of that. Think of that, Miller. Malik Willis was with the head coach and the general manager last year. Not to mention, Malik Willis has been in this league 3-4 more years than Quinn has. Right? I mean, I would find that as more of an advantage for Malik Willis than the minimal time that Quinn Ewers spent with Bobby Slowick. Make sure you hit that like button for me, subscribe, comment, share. Become a member of the channel. I got to update my members too. Get Jocelyn and Sean on there. Pretty soon here, we're going to be broadcasting the games. It's going to be hella fun. I got a lot of exciting things planned for game day. We're going to be drinking and getting it in. You know what I mean? Big C, how come you never talk about Mark Kronowski? Who? Mark Kronowski? Mark Kronowski. That's why. No disrespect, Richard, but that's why. Why? I mean, because he's not a. Listen, I know that he's fighting for a roster spot, and I got you, JD. Give me 1 second. I know he's fighting for a roster spot, and he's a quarterback on this team, but again, do you think this guy's ever really going to get a start with the Miami Dolphins? I just think there's more things to talk about for this football team than a guy that's fighting for the third spot in the quarterback room. You know what I mean? Do you think he's ever going to, let's say Malik Willis and Quinn Ewers aren't the answer at quarterback. Do you think Gronowski is going to be the answer? No, they're going to go draft a guy. This guy, he has no shot. He has no shot. Him and Cam Miller both have zero chances of being the quarterback for this Miami Dolphins team. Zero chance. Literally zero chance. There you go, JD. I mean, zero chance. Now, now the one aspect, and this is the issue with training camp, right? Other than what about Kurt Warner? He had zero chance too. And Richard, you're right. You're right. There are the rules to the exception. Kurt Warner, players that come out of nowhere, just like Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick that ends up becoming one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. There are exceptions to the rule. There are. But the you know what I mean? That's like me planning a vacation based upon the chances that I might win the lottery. That's like me planning a vacation with the chances that I win the lottery tonight. I hit the Powerball. I could talk about what vacation I can really go on and go in depth about that. And then I can spend 20 minutes talking about, well, this is the vacation I'll take if I win the lottery. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry if you want to hear about him. I just find it kind of a waste of time almost. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a realistic shot that he ever ends up being the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. And again, anything that he produces with, he's going against the bottom of the barrel players. He's not going against the ones or the twos in practice. So I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about him a little bit when we start getting in the preseason. We'll maybe talk about him a little bit and his performances. But practices, he's going against the worst competition on the football team. So even if he does look good, is it because he's good or is it because he's going against a bunch of bums? Miller says, I genuinely like Cam Miller over Quinn. He's dual threat and has a cannon and same stature as Malik. I mean, Malik's stature is not a positive thing. I would say that's probably a negative, Malik's stature. Now, Malik is a muscular guy, but he's still an undersized quarterback. He's still undersized. But who's pumped? And Marco says Hall of Fame game this week, so real football back, if that's what you want to call the preseason, real football. I'm super pumped today. The pads go on. Who's pumped for that? Who's pumped for the pads going on? And I want to say one other thing real quick about Jeff Hafley, because this guy, and again, I was against Jeff Hafley, the hiring of Jeff Hafley, simply because I felt like it was a buddy hire. I felt like the Miami Dolphins didn't do their due diligence when it came to trying to get top coaching candidates in the door. I felt like we hired a general manager and he had his heart set on his dude and his dude alone. We never really had a shot at John Harbaugh. And it's not that I necessarily even wanted John Harbaugh to be our head coach, but I would have at least liked the opportunity to interview him, brought him in, had a chance at him. You know what I mean? So I wasn't in love with Jeff Hafley hiring, but I got to admit that he continues to impress me. He continues to impress me. The things that he says, he keeps his word. When he says something, you better believe it's going to happen. You better believe it's going to happen. He doesn't care what others think. He cares about the way he wants to do things, like the elimination of 7-on-7s. And then yesterday, the offense clearly got the better of the defense. And because he's the defensive coordinator, he's out there doing push-ups with the defense because the offense beat him too. He took responsibility for his actions. And I love that. I absolutely adore that. I absolutely adore that. So Jeff Hafley continues to impress me. I really truly am starting to believe that, and it's way early. It's way early. We need to see what happens when, the games start to matter and what transpires there. But I'm truly starting to believe that maybe we finally have found the right guy for the job. Big C, can you name a surprise cut? Mine is Terrell Dotson. What's yours? Ooh, Terrell Dotson. Terrell Dotson's been a pretty productive player for us the last few years. Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert. Is that a surprise one for you? Alan Poupart said Jalen Tolbert was invisible at practice. He would have thought that Jalen Tolbert wasn't even participating. He was absolutely invisible. Now, is there a good chance that he makes the team? Yeah, there's a good chance because he is a vet. This wide receiver room is a hot mess at the current moment. So, yeah, it's probably a long shot me saying Jalen Tolbert, but we shall see. Jacob Rodriguez, 24 years old and needs to be on a starter from jump. Yeah, I understand, Richard, what you're saying. Absolutely. Is there a world where they play Jacob Rodriguez, Jordan Brooks, and him at the same time? Can they play Terrell Dotson, Jordan Brooks, and Jacob Rodriguez at the same time? Can that be your three linebackers? Lombardo says I like Hafley. Yeah, I'm really starting to like him too. Miller says things aren't looking good. Michael K. But Jordan Phillips and Zeke Biggers gives me hope. Jobu Uche, the new guy, better set the edge. Miller says surprise cut candidate Jalen Wright. That's another name that I wouldn't be too surprised. In the Dolphins 4-3 base defense, they will be in nickel at least 80% of the time, so only two linebackers will be on the field. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I guess it makes sense to move on from Dotson so you can get Rodriguez on the field. I think you're right. Richard, I think you're right that Jacob Rodriguez probably needs to be on the field day one. He's definitely shown through the early stages of training camp that he is continuing to take the ball away from the offense like he did in college. Uh, we all know how big turnovers are in the NFL, and they can definitely determine whether you win or lose, right? So I think Jacob Rodriguez needs to be on the field too. I would hate to lose Terrell Dotson because I think he's a pretty good football player. Uh, but man, uh, you're right. Jacob Rodriguez does need to be on the field. Dotson's a trade candidate target with his contract and protection warrant, at least 5 to 6. Yeah, you could possibly try to trade him. Dallas is still looking for a linebacker. I heard that they're still interested in Jordan Brooks, but there's zero chance that the Dolphins trade him now since they gave him the new contract. But yeah, I'm going to open it up to you all and get your takes on day 4 of training camp. And I want to know what you need to see day 5 of training camp now that the pads are coming on. Again, make sure the background noise is to a minimum. Give people an opportunity to talk. Let's not talk over each other, and let's keep it respectful. Again, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share. If you're interested in fantasy football, I want to get the boat rolling. It's August 3rd. We need to figure it out. It's a great time. It's super fun. Let me know. But let's open it up to you guys because I love hearing from you. I keep saying this is not just my channel, it's your guys' channel also. There it is. Let's go. Yo, I'm super stoked though. I'm super stoked. I can't wait to see the pads go on. I want to know what's up. I want to know what's up. I'm excited to see our second year guys. I'm excited to see Caden Proctor. I'm excited to see it all. Chef Jersey says, y'all know you are winning 6 games, right? I'm a fake fan because that's my belief is that we're winning 6 fit games. The real fans believe this is a playoff team. But yeah, I see the Dolphins winning 4 of the 6. I don't know, Richard, if he's got what he's labeled. I think he's labeled as a linebacker. I think Kyle Lewis is labeled as a linebacker, but he's definitely a safety linebacker hybrid. Hit that link up. Let's go. TD got that Miami fans crazy. 10 wins, he said. Chef, I've had people on here legit say 14 wins. 14 wins, Chef Jersey. For real. I've had people on here say 14 wins. Ten wins ain't enough. 14 wins. Same person said we're going to have 4 1,000-yard rushers. Do you like tweeners? I don't. Listen, I would say he's more of a linebacker, right? He really does his damage towards the line of scrimmage. Uh but he's more of a safety side, I guess. Glenn, good morning, brother. Laugh out loud. Hope is huge. Again, I don't press upon people to send super chats, so I read their comments and interact with them. I hope that people can do that on their own and help support the channel. I don't want to be one of them channels that only answers your questions or acknowledges you when you guys send super chats. So just try to look out for your boy. Try to help out with the channel. I'm trying to continue it to grow. I want to do bigger and better things. Uh, I don't got the not yet. Not yet. I don't have the sponsored by videos yet that these guys are making the big dollars off of, or the 40,000 subscribers that they're making the big dollars off of. So I rely on you guys to look out for me once in a while, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit that like button for sure, though. Glenn, hope and being nuts is completely different. You get an unproven Malik Willis, and now you are playoff contenders. Stay off the weed. Listen, I agree. They say all our minimum contract players are hungry and they're here to win. They're going to show out. Every rookie we got are going to be top end contributors from day one. It's just crazy. Who's talking about the Jets here? Did anyone mention the Jets? Yeah, I mean, I don't know the fixation with bringing up other franchises to try to make our franchise better. I don't understand that really. Michael says device is not connected. You need to connect your microphone or your camera, it says. And I get it, Glenn, but I notice a lot of people will say, like, when we get Buffalo Bills guys on here, they'll start taking shots at the Bills. Like, for what? For what? And I understand that like Michael K, he's a Bills guy. So for him to talk about the Dolphins maybe gets people defensive. But again, we're talking about the Dolphins. I don't care what the Bills are. I don't care how good the Bills are. Dang, nobody want to come up and talk this morning? Don't get scared, Lil C. It's all right. Lil C ain't gonna bite. Home of the fake Fin fans over here on Lil C Show. I just hear every team has hope right now, and every player on every team is hungry. Listen, not every team is in the position the Miami Dolphins are in, though. That's all. Michael, it says that your mic or your camera's not hooked up. It says you need to connect a mic or a cam before you can be added. All right. Michael, good morning. Hello? You there, Michael? Richard, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, my friend?
All right. Hey, I wanted to ask you, do you think any of these later round draft picks will have any kind of impact? Because I haven't heard much about guys like Trey Moore, the tight end we picked in the 6th round. Puka Nacua was a 5th round pick. Like, why can't we get something like that,
Well, I think we did last year, right? I mean, you look at Jordan Phillips. I have high hopes for Jordan Phillips. I mean, Quinn Ewers is proven to at least be a decent backup quarterback. So I think we got some guys like that last year. Ollie Gordon was a late round pick. I mean, for you to think that we're going to hit on late round draft picks every year is, I mean, Kyle Lewis is a later round pick. So maybe Kyle Lewis turns into, something. But, these late round guys don't typically, I know Puka Nakua, like Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. They just don't typically, they're 6th round guys for a reason. You know what I mean?
But with us, it's like never like I can't remember like anybody past the 4th round to become a star. Like, you know,
Well, I mean, it's hard to do, but like I
Zach
said, Jordan,
Thomas. Okay, there's one, but that's like 100 years ago.
well, like I said, Jordan Phillips, I have high hopes for him. I don't know how you feel about Jordan Phillips,
I
but
mean, he might be a good player, but like he's not going to be like Aaron Donald.
yeah, I mean, I just don't. I think those players are far and few between more than what you think they are. You know what I
I
mean?
just wish we would get lucky one of these times. You know.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice, right? It'd be super nice if you can get a superstar in the 6th round. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
that definitely helps your chances of rebuilding or improving your team drastically. But it's just harder than what you think. It doesn't happen as often as people think it does. It's just, you know, you see the Puka Nakuas and you're like, oh well, look how easy it was for them to grab him up. You know what I mean? But in
But the
reality,
Rams are notorious for doing that. Like they have several defensive players that are 4th round and back. You know, like they're not 1st and 2nd round picks, and they're really good players. You know,
well
I know
maybe
they
that
spend, but
and maybe they spend more time, you know, addressing that when they go out to scout teams, scout players. Maybe they spend more time on later round guys, more so than the guys at the top of the draft. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe they're sending more people to littler schools or to investigate players that are under the radar more so than you never know how these teams are scouting. Obviously, I think uh, they have different level scouts and they try to scout a vast variety of players, but you don't know how much they're truly how many assets they're truly sending to look at guys that are supposed to be 6th round picks or 7th round picks. You know what I mean?
Do you think we'll have at least 6 or 7 people, rookies, contribute something this year? I mean, with this roster, it's mostly 1st and 2nd year players, anyways. You know.
Well, that's the thing is that there's a chance that you have that many rookies, uh, producing for this football team. But is it because they're that good, or is it because the overall roster is that bad? You know what I mean? So it's like a double-edged sword. Let me see. Let's take a look at the draft. Caden Proctor, yes.
Yeah, 1st and 2nd and
Yeah,
3rd.
definitely.
You know,
I'm
they're
just trying to go
supposed.
through the. I'm just trying to. You said 6, 7. I'm trying to go through 6 or 7. I can see. So, Caden Proctor, yes. Jacob Rodriguez, yes. Chris Johnson, yes. That's 3. Caleb Douglas, he's going to produce at some level. You know what I mean? I wasn't high on Caleb Douglas as a 3rd round pick. If we would have took him in the 5th, I would have been all over him. But I think you're going to get some production from Caleb Douglas. The rookie wide receiver Coleman, I think we're going to get some production from him. So that's 5, right?
Wouldn't that put the other MALIK on the bench if he beats out what Caleb? I mean MALIK Williams. Is that his name?
No, it's Malik Washington.
Yeah, MALIK Washington.
No,
Because I can't see him playing on the outside.
You will see that's what Malik Washington is going to play outside more than what you think he will. I think Coleman will be more of a slot, and Tutu Atwell will be slot, and you'll see Malik Washington outside a lot more. I think Malik Washington's stats last year, they were 50-50 slot and outside.
Man, this wide receiver room is not good.
Yeah, I agree with you there, my friend. I agree with you there. Glenn says Douglas will play a lot. Yeah, I agree. Douglas is going to be on the field. Douglas is definitely going to be on the field. So, yeah, I can see 6-7 guys from this year's draft class, definitely producing for this football team, or at least getting opportunities to produce.
What about Michael Taft?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have I think Dante Trader's got one safety spot, locked up. I think he's a starter. Michael Taft's definitely going to hopefully get an opportunity. He's had Jeff Hafley had an interesting little conversation with Michael Taft, and Miss Finn's kind of brought it up on her show. I was checking it out, and Michael Taft had an interception, but Michael Taft was in the wrong spot when he got the interception. And
yeah,
he kind of was like, he's like, oh, well, at least I got the interception. Jeff Hafley was like, well, yeah, you got lucky there, but at the same time, we're trying to get you in the right position all the time, so it's more likely that you make those game-changing plays. Yeah, you got lucky this time. You were out of position, and somehow the ball found you. But if you practice and you can produce and you can do the right thing 9 out of 10 times, those opportunities are going to find you way more often than you being in the wrong spot and the ball finding you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Michael Taft definitely got
an really root for his development this year. I mean, it sucks. I ain't getting no younger. Like this to me, like this year is like it's going to be hard to get 6 wins. Like I don't think we get 6 wins with this roster.
Well, we're on the same. We're definitely on the same page, my friend. Like I think this year's about development. I think this year's about learning who our head coach is. I think this year is about learning a new offensive scheme, learning a new defensive scheme, letting our rookies develop, letting our second-year guys develop, people need to realize that Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan were only able to add a limited amount of their players to this football team because we were so up. We had our backs so far up against the wall as far as cap room, and we only had a certain amount of draft picks. Yeah, we had quite a few draft picks, but next year is the key year for me because I think that gives Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan another year, another draft. It gives us an opportunity to test the markets. Yeah, maybe we're not going to sign a big fancy names in free agency, but it gives you an opportunity to add a veteran player, a very good player at a position of need. So I think next year is the key year, but this year can be fun too. You can watch, maybe we don't win a lot of games, but watching young players develop and seeing this franchise finally make steps and going in the right direction is a big deal. Only the real survive. What's up, my brother?
What up?
How you feeling about the first week of training camp so far?
Man, everything is going according to plan in my book. You know what I mean? Like first year GM, I ain't gonna say I'm just gonna say for our team, a new GM, a new head coach with a retooled roster. Like you can't ask for no more but competition on both sides of the ball at this point. And that's how I'm looking at it. Like as far as the details, we can get into the details when the pass come on. That's just my opinion.
So what I forget what your expectations are of the season. How you see what do you see for this season?
The main thing for this season I really want to see if we can get a winning streak, maintain a winning streak, or establish a winning streak. I want to see that, and I want to see a winning streak of at least 3 games. You know, if we can string 3 games together on a winning streak, you know, I'm satisfied with this coaching staff because they're showing me that they got what it takes to come in on a daily basis and do the same thing. So, you know, I don't care about the record. I just want to see them get a winning streak going.
So with a 3-game winning streak, what would you say the win total is though?
With a 3 game winning streak, I'm gonna say probably 6, 7 games.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's not too far off of where I'm at. You know, I think the max is 6. I look at this schedule and you know I'm hard pressed to find. You know, I think 6 wins is difficult to find on this schedule, and I know teams can look tougher in the preseason than what they end up being in the regular season because of injuries and whatnot. But as of right now, looking at this schedule, I'm hard pressed to find 6. So, what you said, a 3-game win streak. What part of the season would you think that it's more likely for that to happen?
I say about the best chances is probably the beginning, but a more realistic chance would be the middle of towards the middle of the end of the year.
Yeah, I kind of, you talk about a 3-game winning streak. I think that we have a real opportunity to beat the Raiders week 1. I think you're right. At the beginning of the season is probably our best bet because, teams don't know how to prepare for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Teams don't know what we're bringing. They got limited, tape on Malik Willis. They got, they don't know what to expect from us. So I think the first 3 games of the season is definitely an opportunity to, get off to a fast start. I just don't know if they can keep it up. Sharif, what's up, brother? Is that how you say your name? I'm sorry. You there?
Yeah,
I'm great. Can you hear me properly?
I'm sorry. How do you say your name?
Right,
Sharif.
All right. Yeah. How you doing, brother?
Everyone good?
Yeah.
Man, I'm kind of hype. I was listening to you. You were talking about the win total.
Yeah.
Man, I can't.
Where you see that?
Yeah, I can't really. I won't do that to myself right now. But like I mentioned, the team is much more physical. Uh, the practices are they're not wasting any time, which I think will help us late in the season. Um, Everything is right to the football, right to the snap, right to the next play. No time is wasted. Um, and I also like the nutrition follow up with the young players I've done, like Zeke Biggers. He looks very lean. He looks good enough to play end now, which he's playing a lot more. Chop took on that challenge. He looks like a beast now. And he didn't need the weight added, and he set the edge quite fine last season, but now much stronger. I expect much more.
I disagree that he set that. I disagree that he set the edge good. That's his major downfall is him setting that edge.
According to PFF, he did very well. So I mean, some of us don't. And I was one of them. What the hell, and for sure enough, PFF said no, he did well last season.
I think the Miami Dolphins took him out of the game lots of times when it was clearly running situations. Like he, I don't know. He's not good at setting that edge. That's something that he definitely needs to improve on to make sure he can stay on the field. So I understand what PFF says, but I mean, you can watch the game of football and tell what you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. So internally, before a game is played, I like, uh, of course, what I I think what I'm noticing is I don't want to let you down, and I don't want to do push-ups. I don't want to run laps. So I need, you're gonna have to trust me late in the season, big games, and so you're not gonna see false starts. You're not gonna see false snaps, these mistakes, because you're gonna be held accountable. The first thing guys did who made mistakes, they dropped down and did push-ups before the practice even began yesterday, and that was because the mistakes made Saturday and Friday. Um, and so, that is going to work on being perfect on a play, unless you're gonna be penalized and held accountable. I like that.
I agree. I like that too, and I had mentioned that. I love the fact that the offense kind of won the day yesterday, and because Jeff Halfley is the defensive coordinator, he dropped down with his players and did push-ups himself, and I absolutely love that. And I think that holding players accountable is definitely a positive for this football team. You got to hold people accountable. How many times did we see the tight? What's the tight end we had last year? Hill. How many mistakes did he make? How many penalties did he make? And Mike McDaniel just sent him back right back in there. Sent him right back in there instead of benching his ass. You
Yep.
got to hold people accountable. You got to, if you're not doing your job, then you don't get the play. And maybe you end up having you're forcing a player that's not as talented into the game. But if that player that's not as talented is at least doing his job, I'll take that type of player any day of the week. You know what I mean?
Agreed. And shout out to I don't know if you know Ali, but man, Taffy and Kyle Lewis on draft night. Ali was like, "I'm glad that we got these two." Sure enough, Taffy and Kyle Lewis making a bunch of plays. So shout out to Ali. I was I was gleaming when we got Mason Rieger and Max Lillywell, but I haven't heard much from them. But I am predicting that they also help on the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Kyle Lewis coming out. I thought he had potential. Michael Michael Taff is he's an undersized safety, but he's kind of got a nose for the ball. He did have an interception, but like I said, he was out of position. He wasn't doing the right thing on that play. He kind of got lucky, and Jeff Halfley definitely is focusing on doing things the right way and being in the right position. Anybody can get lucky, but to put yourself in a position to succeed most of the time, that's what he's truly looking for. And I listen, Michael Taft can definitely, there's a lot of openings on this football team because the roster is kind of shoddy. You know what I mean? So these guys that may not get an opportunity somewhere else are going to get an opportunity here in Miami. And I get that I get you like what's going on and what you're seeing, and it makes you want to, it's a feel good story, and you can tell just by the amount of fans in camp. You know what I mean? Look how many fans are attending training camp this year, even though the Miami Dolphins are projected to be a 4 or 5 win team. They're excited to have a new head coach. They're excited to have a new general manager. They're excited to have a new quarterback. And I understand that and I get that. But just because you have those new things does not mean it does not take time to build and get things. You
Agreed.
might have good parents for a toddler, but that doesn't mean that toddler's going to be a great human being right away. You got to teach, you got to help that, you got to nourish, you got to help that young child grow into a respectable adult. You know what I mean? So it's still going to take time. They still need to get some more assets. You got to remember that Jeff Halfley and John Eric Sullivan have only had one draft. They've only had one draft. They've had very minimal room with what they could do in free agency. Most of their free agent dollars went to Malik Willis, and rightfully so. They felt Malik Willis was their quarterback. They went out and got him. But they still need time to add and implement more players. This team needs more talent. They do. We have $180 million in dead cap. You cannot ignore that fact that every other team in the league has an extra 100, 120, 130 more million dollars than we do to put a team together. That makes a difference. It does. So while I think that
Yes,
this team is going to be better than, a basement dwelling football team, I still think we're a year away from being a playoff contender that is fighting for the division and fighting for a playoff spot.
I, I, I see. The thing is, I want to see how
Oh, do
we
you
get
want the
beat.
schedule?
I want to see how we get pounded in the first scrimmage, which I think is Wednesday, because we're beating up on ourselves. And I won't ever say any. Like, I won't say what you just said. If you haven't, So the Lions kind of embarrassed us in the scrimmage. Then we went up to Washington. It was evened out. Chicago pummeled us, went in the scrimmage. And I knew from those scrimmages, it's going to be a long season. Because, the Lions, they weren't even that tough last year. And for them to do that to us in the scrimmage, so I can read better. So, so look, you said what you said, right? We have
You're breaking
38
up a little bit.
players
I
on.
can't really hear you.
Oh, give me a second. Hopefully, I'm better now. So we have 38 players on 1 year deals, right? We
Yeah.
are minus the worms in the apple, right? The guys who wouldn't be held accountable, who did what they wanted to do. We got rid of that, right? We got rid of a guy who can't even throw a 15-yard out. He can't scramble for the first down, and all of these other things. Now
Yeah.
you replace that guy with guy who throws tightrope 40-yard passes. Some passes that he threw yesterday, they highlight passes, back feet throwing, still has the power in the arm to get it there. Um, so you replace injured prone, can't get the ball there with a guy who's a tightrope. Pretty much, this is a better prospect at quarterback. From what I've seen from that, I can't translate that into wins, but I know one thing that in the scrimmages coming Wednesday, we're going to be more prepared than ever before. And the reason why I believe that is because Kim Camper mentioned something really uh, keen. Um, he said when he went out to the first practice, everybody jumped to the line of scrimmage. They ran to the line of scrimmage, got the play off. The next package comes out, get right to the line of scrimmage, running, sprinting to get the next play off, no time wasted. Things like that, that was never here. I think it was Austin Jackson mentioned they did that with Flores. So you're not going to get, I just think that no team in the NFL right now is probably going to be more prepared. Think about the conditioning. Omar Kelly mentioned the conditioning. He was wondering what the hell these guys are doing. The conditioning is hours, Omar Kelly said. What is that translated to? You look at Kansas City's roster, you look at San Francisco's roster, you look at other teams, they're banged up right now. We haven't had one injury. Shoulder and foot. I'm sorry, shoulder and knee, bell and A chain. That's all we have. So the conditioning is also improved, along with the other things I've mentioned. Are we much more prepared to take on a team that's better than us? That's what I believe. I'm not going nah. I think that you got rid of who you needed to, and you have to turn the page on those negative things, and not say that those negative things that are left. That's not still on the Dolphins team. So I'm not gonna let 160 million scare me off from this team being good.
Okay, so I'm gonna just because you're more prepared doesn't make you more talented. Did we need to move off some of those guys? Absolutely. Did you need to change the culture in the building? Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. And I love the fact that the guys are eager. I love it. I love that they're running to the line of scrimmage. I love that they're doing those things. But you still need talent on your football team. You need depth on your football team. You need experience on your football team. And the Miami Dolphins lack that. 180 million, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, 180 million is nothing. That's over half. That's 60% of your salary cap is to guys that are no longer here.
I mean, I'm just
Which
a
means you
hard
have
worker.
which means you got the 30 some minimum contract guys that are just scraping by, just trying to keep their NFL hopes alive and make a football team. Why? Because they're not talented, because they lack talent, because they're not the greatest players in the NFL. And we have those guys in key positions. We have those guys at corner. We have some of those guys at wide receiver. We have some of those guys, you know what I mean, at pass rusher,
Yeah,
at safety.
I'm just a firm believer in how hard work triumphs talent. So I get what you're saying about the talent part, but if excuse me, but if all these guys can come in here, put their head down, and work hard because they got some talent to be there. And if you got some talent to be there and you continuously work hard and put yourself in good position, you know, we can beat the most talented team.
Well, the games will be played, and I listen. I hope these guys are right. I hope you guys are right. I hope this team is better than what the talent says they are. You know what I mean? I hope these guys overperform. I hope these guys, we find diamonds in the rough, that some of these minimum contract players end up being better than what they've been in their NFL career so far. But again, to
I
me,
mhm.
it, you know, if you've been in the league 4 or 5 years, you pretty much are what you've been. You know what I mean? Yeah. Uh, Caleb Douglas
And
is having issues
mhm.
catching the football. If you can't catch the football at this stage in your football career, and I understand he's a rookie, but how long has he played the wide receiver position, and you still have problems
Right,
catching the football? You know what I mean?
right, right. So this is what I can predict um, from coming in, and I don't think we're gonna be I think we're gonna be the least penalized team, and I think we're gonna be uh, I look at from what am I confident in, right? I'm confident in Kevin Coleman. I think Kevin Coleman is gonna carry this team until everybody catches up. I think he's I forgot what the word is when you're a prospect but you're ready now. So he's bloomed already. I think he's bloomed and peaked already because he's been to four different college teams. His performance is elite already. Nobody knows is that when hardly anyone knows is that it was Lemon, the first wide receiver that was highly touted in all the percentiles of 90%, and the second wide receiver coming out with percentiles of all NFL Combine ranking. It was Kevin Coleman, better than every other receiver in the NFL drafted. So I think he's going to peak now and carry this football team. I think Malik Willis is going to peak now because so so if those two guys peak right now, that I think that's enough offense. Now, I mentioned this on your show, the biggest left side of the offensive line. You got Brewer, you got Proctor, and Paul. I think A Chain is going to love that. Um, I think right now you're bigger at tight end. I think you had Hill and Waller. So you got Kakmarek, 270, 6'7", and Ben Sims, 6'6", 260. So you got a big line, over 1,700 pounds, and very big at tight end. I can't say a record. I'm not going to say 11-5, but what I will say is this: I don't know how you're going to be able to stop us from running football. I just don't. I just don't. The defensive end of the opposing team is going to have to account for Willis handing or faking, and he's going to have to account for A-Chain as well. So that means they're going to have their linebacker and their defensive end in strafe, waiting for the decision to be made. That split second waiting, that's going to cost teams.
I mean, teams will figure it out. I mean, they'll stack the box and they'll force you to beat them through the air. Now, that's where I think that the Miami Dolphins will probably struggle, because I think that we do have a lack of talent at the wide receiver position. And I love Kevin Coleman. I think he's going to be the best rookie receiver for this football team, honestly, in my opinion. But you know, again, are these guys showing out in camp because they're super good, or are they showing out in camp because the competition's not that good?
I think Bobby is not showing them a damn thing. I don't think Bobby is showing them anything. In fact, anytime they've shown Bobby, they've only shown him. They don't want you to see anything. I watch everything. Bobby is showing himself on the mic talking. He's not showing a damn thing, and I like that. We don't need, as fans, to know a damn thing because our mouth is too big. And in fact, we're posting things that has been shown in camp, which we shouldn't do from a professional and competitive standpoint. We need to stop doing that. And I like what Bobby is doing.
What I like about this receiver core, which not many people are gonna say it, but I'm gonna put it like this: if you a fan of Brian Hartline, I don't understand how you cannot see some positivity in this receiver core, because there is no big name. Everybody has to earn their keep. And on top of that, it just makes it easier to spread the ball around. So I feel like that's going to play to our advantage more than our disadvantage with no-name receiver. So again, like I said, Devin Best, Brian Hartline, like if you fan of those guys, those are the type of guys that is really normally in this offensive system right now. So
you come from Brian Hartline to John Eric Sullivan, who's a great wide receivers coach. Man, I didn't even know that.
Well, John Eric Sullivan's the general manager. He's not coach.
No, his father is. His father is going to come down and help him. We all know that.
What?
No.
Yeah, John Eric Sullivan's father is a wide receivers coach for years in the NFL. Yeah, we didn't.
Even our main guy, Jarvis Landry. You know, he wasn't never that receiver to take the top off the defense, but he was always, you know, he had that heart. Now that's what I want to see from these receivers in this receiver core. Do they have the heart to continuously go across that middle? Because that Brian Hartline, the Devin Best, and the Jarvis Landry, they had their heart to go across that middle, and that's what would make this team, I say, exponentially dangerous if all Tutu Atwell, Tilbury, all them guys.
Kevin Coleman is on his ass. Yeah. Tutu got to look out. Yeah, Tutu's got to look out, man. He's dropping too much, man. Listen, man. Kevin Coleman is going to take his job, man. Kevin Coleman is going to take Tutu's job. I think Kevin is going to carry this football team. I think he's Devon Best 2.0, with much more quickness.
And me, I'm the type of person, I don't care about the name. If you get out there and prove your work, you keep what you earn. That's just me. So at the end of the day, it's like it don't matter who it is, you know.
What I don't like is Michael Leva, who's a good buddy of his. So that's my buddy from Dolphin Star. I don't like him smearing the fact that, don't look forward for anything. This is a rebuild, and okay, but you're saying that every day on your show, right? But you don't mention the 7 bad worms that came out of the apple, right? So that doesn't have an effect if you get rid of 7 worms out of the apple. No, it doesn't have an effect. So we're gonna suck anyway. I don't want. What are we doing here? Like if
Them
you,
seven
the
guys that you
principle
talking
of the
about, them seven
what
guys you
what I'm
talking
saying is he thinks that the cap and the fact that those guys are gone is not going to change a thing. What are we doing here?
No, I ain't gonna say that, but I will agree that this is still a rebuild. Like I don't care how people want to put it, this is a rebuild.
And I don't think the 38 guys who signed for 1 year thinks that. You know how much times Hafley said, stop putting a rebuild on me? We're trying to win. And fans are just, oh, I'm going to
You're
go back to,
listening too much to
we're
the
going to
fake
suck
stuff,
for,
bro.
oh, we're
That's
going to
bullshit.
suck for Manning.
So, so, so
All
initially,
coaches are going to say that.
I'm not preparing for Manning, bro. I'm not.
initially,
Actually, I don't want him.
I understand why Hasley is telling these guys that we're not in a rebuild because you don't want them guys to come in with any kind of leeway. You don't want them guys to think, well, I ain't got to show up.
Suppose these players prove him right.
You know,
But
like
suppose they prove him right, right?
But
We're afraid to be proven right. But like they can prove Hafley right, man.
yeah, they can prove them right, but at the end of the day, like I said, you don't want them coming in with anything in their mind thinking they can lack, they can
Understood.
take a load
Understood.
off.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I say I understand why he say we're not in a rebuild because you know you the head coach, you set the tone. Even though this is a rebuild, I don't want my players to get out there and think, well, we just rebuilding, so next year we're gonna come back and do it better. Nah, like I agree with him coming in and saying this is not a rebuild, even though it is.
Right. And you know, couple of things. I think we it will be refreshing. I think. And how do I pronounce your name again? The host of the show,
Big C.
Big C?
Big C. What I'm noticing, right?
Yeah.
Malik. I think Malik. What's going to be refreshing this season is when he can get the ball to our receivers with velocity, something that we probably lacked the last six years. That's going to be refreshed. So the ball is going to get there first down, and you're not going to be worried about fluttering ducks. And so we haven't seen that element because Bobby won't show it. And I like how Bobby won't show it. So you're going to see A-Chain. We know how A-Chain looks, right? When
Bobby
you
Slowick's
see the
not showing
new,
that Malik Willis complete passes. I mean, that was what are you saying?
no, what I mean is he's not
I
showing
don't know.
the
He's taking the
plays.
scenic
I
route
think
to say what he's saying. That's for sure.
he's not sure.
What are you saying,
I think
Tree?
they got the crowd riled up and they intentionally throwed bombs yesterday. But I don't think Bobby's showing a damn thing. And I like it like that because when you see Malik throw these passes to these windows and they get there with velocity and it's a completion first down, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a refreshing excitement. It's going to be refreshing knowing that we got a QB
Until the
who can
receiver
make
doesn't make the
plays.
catch because we have
Right.
receivers that have catching issues.
So I like one thing I listened to Omar and Poupard and TD. They were like, bro, this guy has a gun. You had to admit, everyone had to admit, yes, this guy has a gun. He is a cannon. So I know we're
Really
gonna
gonna
be
be
okay.
refreshing. What's really gonna be refreshing is seeing your quarterback rush for that first down when there's nothing but green grass in front of him.
But he's learning how to be a QB first. That's the
Right,
thing.
but initially when the play breaks down, I know
Oh,
his reaction is gonna be like
right,
almost instinct. So I'm
right.
not saying that he's gonna look to run more than to pass, but I just hope he can find that good balance in knowing
Mhm.
when to run and when to pass.
Now, am I off to say 2,400 yards, 400 yards rushing, 18 to 20 touchdowns, and maybe six rushing touchdowns for Malik? 18 to 20 touchdowns passing, 6 touchdowns rushing, 400 yards rushing, and maybe what? 24 to 2,600 yards? Because if he passes for 150 yards a game, that means A-Chain and Ollie Gordon is tearing it up.
Or we're just ass.
I don't think you need the 300-yard game from Malik because if he gives you 50 yards rushing, that's 3 first downs. If A-Chain does his thing,
Sharif,
you don't
I
need
will
a bunch of passing. I'm
We
just
do
saying
need-
that you don't have
we
enough
do
clock to do all of that.
Now we do need a couple 300-yard games from Malik, because the reason why I say that is because it's gonna come games to where he's gonna have to put the team on his back and shoulder the
Exactly.
load. The
That's what we
same-
never got
Right.
from Tua. We
Right,
always
I
had
agree.
Tyreek
I agree.
leading the charge when
Hey,
when
Joe.
Tua was there, and it masked everything, and we kept
I'll
Tua
address
for two.
I want to address the 7 people that you said we lost, and maybe these guys were problems, but to act like some of those guys weren't highly talented players, that it's going to hurt
Yes, they
us
were.
not to have them on this football team, is absolutely crazy. When you take a Tyreek Hill and you no longer have them, when you take a Jalen Waddle, and people can say what they want, and I'm not a Jalen Waddle guy by any means. I've bashed him a million times saying he's not a number 1 receiver. This guy has produced
I'm a Panay guy.
doubled anything that Jalen Tolbert's ever produced, Tutu Atwell's ever produced, any of
Right.
these guys ever produced. He's doubled it. So to lose him,
Yes.
to lose Bradley Chubb, who led this team in sacks and the leadership that he had, to lose Fitzpatrick,
Ramsey.
not the greatest player in the world anymore, but still better than anything we have on this roster currently. Jalen Ramsey the year before, again, not a top 10 corner in any world, but still considerably better than anything we've had here. And yeah, we didn't have Jalen Ramsey last year, but Rasul Douglas performed at a very high level for us.
Yes.
Jack Jones almost single-handedly won 2 football games for us with the forced fumbles last year. I mean, to think that this team is automatically better because we lost Tua Tagovailoa, and again, people try to say that I'm a two-and-ear. Not by any means. Did I think that we could win football games with Tua Tagovailoa? I did. Did I think that we could win playoff games with Tua? I did. And it wasn't necessarily because of Tua Tagovailoa. It was the amount of talent we surrounded Tua Tagovailoa with.
Right.
Tua Tagovailoa definitely needed to be replaced. I said it, that year that he got 2 years ago when he got hurt at the Texans, and they wouldn't disclose what it was. And I knew it was the hip injury. It had to have been, because they were keeping so mum about it. I knew it. And then last year,
Yeah, I knew it too.
performance just, we need to move on from Tua. I'm not mad that Tua's not here, not by any means. My predictions for this team have nothing to do with Tua. I could care less what's going on with Tua Tagovailoa. I haven't checked on Tua Tagovailoa in Atlanta not once. Not once. I am a Miami Dolphin fan through and
He's
through.
injured.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if he plays. I don't care I don't care any of that. All I care about is this team. And to think that this team, just because of the logo, if you change the logo to a Cleveland Browns logo, and if you were to look at this roster, you would say, hey, yeah, they got some talent. They're young, but they're not a playoff team, not by any sense of the imagination. You automatically, everybody wants to think that we're going to get the best version of Malik Willis. What's the best version of Malik Willis in a full season? Oh, we don't know, because he's never played a full season. We don't know.
Right.
We want to guess about these rookies.
I think TD.
We don't know.
I think TD averaged out his 3 games last season.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't take 3 games, multiply it by 4, 5. You can't do that.
Yeah. I agree. So I think we're bigger, we're more physical. Guys don't want to disappoint the guy on the left or the right of them. That accountability is back. You're afraid to let teammates down. That carries.
Now that's just gonna be major.
I agree. That does carry weight. But that doesn't replace the lack of talent.
No, it doesn't.
Just because you run to the huddle and you don't want to disappoint the guy to the right or left of you, doesn't make you run faster. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you catch the ball better. It does none of those things. So all that preparation and the preparation, getting better, and being having a better culture doesn't make you more talented. You cannot. That does not make
No.
up for the lack of talent. And the lack of talent is due to the fact that we have $180 million paying talented players to play other places. And we don't have it to build this football team with.
I mean, I
I
get what
agree.
you're
I
saying.
agree.
I just don't think, you know, it takes a boatload of talent to win. To have let's see, above 500, 600, 700 games a year. You know what I mean? Like, you know, some of the sorriest, I ain't gonna say the sorriest teams. Some of the teams that lack talent end up going to further. Now, I'm not saying talent is not needed, because talent is needed. But at the same time, you know, you ain't got to be like, oh, let's bring up T.O., just godly talent. You know, I just don't think you got to be godly talent to be successful like this.
Well, I can tell you one thing: if you make a mistake, or if you're harming this football team, I think you're gonna just sit on the side of Halfley. He's not playing, man. You're gonna sit. You're gonna sit down, man. And he may not scold you. He may want to know, like he said, he's gonna ask you what you saw. Why did you do what you do? Let's break it down so you could go back out there and make plays. But you're gonna be yanked. So
I don't think
okay,
he's going to
go
be in a
one and
position
two,
to be able to
go
yank
one
these
and three.
guys.
If you go 1-4, he's gonna start yanking people and replacing people.
He's going to be doing
So
what?
we can say he's gonna yank your ass and put in someone who's gonna cause us to win games. Big C, that's Halfley.
We don't got that. We don't got no one to replace these guys with.
I don't
To think
I
that
don't
these
agree
young
with that.
rookies. You think this team's got depth? The 38
I think he's gonna yank
contracts,
your ass
minimum
if you're
contract
causing
guys,
us to lose. I just think he's gonna find someone
and
who can do it.
you're going to
This is
replace
the
them.
coach.
You're going to replace them with a less talented player.
Well, that guy may be able to do his job and not worry about stats. Notice he said to Taffy, "You're in the wrong position in the first place in the middle of the field, but yet you got the interception. Oh, you're a stat guy. I see. So you're not in the position that I want you to be, and you got an interception and you're laughing. Oh, you're a stat. See, Halfley is not playing, man. He's not playing. You're gonna sit right there on the side of him if you're causing losses." And that's why I know this team is not going to suffer too long, because he's going to yank your ass. I love that.
Why you keep saying it like that?
That's loss stopping, because it's loss stopping. See, what we're thinking is we're too young, we're lacking the talent that we had. Okay, you make mistakes, you're going to be on the side of me. Simple. Simple. That's how I look at it. Get somebody else in there, guys.
Yeah, I just don't know who you're replacing them with. They're going to be a less talented guy. To think that these rookies and young players, the amount that we have, you're going to replace them with another guy that's young and less talented that player is. These players are on the field starting for a reason. So you're going to replace that person with another young player that's less talented.
Well, if it's like Brian Flores' practice, it's what you do on Tuesday and Thursday. That's why you play. It's not. Oh, you're the starter. It's what you do on Tuesday and Thursday. And if it's like that, then more than likely you're gonna be executing or not, and then someone's gonna already have the playbook ready to like Proctor said. Proctor was like, somebody's on my ass, and I believe that's Douglas. Douglas is on Proctor's ass, and he knows it, right?
It's just the
CJ
position
Douglas
you're talking about, though.
I'm sorry, CJ, the backup right guard that we drafted. Am I saying the wrong name? He's on his ass.
That's what I'm saying, Sharif. It depends on which position you're talking about for him to be like that. Because, you know, so say we run a 3 wide. You know, we already got the top 3 receivers on our team that's gonna be there. So, you know, during training camp, having nobody else showed up to where we feel we're comfortable replacing the third receiver.
I got my job. I think my job is secure. No, your job is not secure.
But why would somebody that is first string fucking up get replaced with a fourth string player when that fourth string player it can't even beat out the third string player? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I really feel like it depends on the positioning of the position you're talking about when it comes to players fucking up. Like on the offensive line, I could see him doing that because everybody got to get reps on the offensive line.
Right.
You know, I could see him. You know, okay, Jonah, you're fucking up. We're gonna pull you because the person that we're gonna put in has been getting reps too, and he know what to do too. You know,
Exactly.
So, you know, and you know, it could be, you know, maybe I use the wide receiver for a wrong, you know, example, but it could be the same with the wide receiver group, just like this as well as
Listen,
the second.
I want to play, and I don't want anyone to take my playing time. So
You know,
that mentality alone, if I ride just on that, these guys should want to make plays, or they know there's a place for them on the bench. So you go 1-3, 1-4. I'm guaranteeing you, Halfley is gonna make that losing streak come to an end just by putting guys in who will make the right play. So that's why I'm not afraid of correction. Like, yeah, okay, 0-2, 0-3. Okay, Halfley starts making moves, bro. That's
But
what I know.
if you don't have the players to
Yeah,
replace,
if you don't have the depth, right?
you know what I mean? Like, and Miller says it's not like we have good depth. It's not like the difference between Tyreek Hill and Braxton Berrios. Yeah, because we don't have the amount of talent of a Tyreek Hill on this roster to be that. So it is the difference between the starter and the backup is less, but they're significantly less talented to start with.
Mhm.
And yeah, some of these guys might have been at the Senior Bowl, but they're still rookies and they're still liable to
Right.
make mistakes because they are rookies learning. These
Yep.
guys are all learning.
Yep. And Jonah even mentioned it. The veterans were so
Hey.
savvy that he played against that, all of his rookie moves couldn't penetrate the veteran. Veterans savvy. Defensive tackles just had all the savviness, and they took advantage of his rookie knowledge.
So, Big C, did you talk about today's practice at all?
I haven't talked about today's practice.
So I'm looking at an article from Sun Sentinel because it's been, the practice, it's already,
Okay.
almost noon. Just says Jalen Tolbert went down after making a one-on-one catch and grabbed at his legs, was down on the field, attended to by trainers for a bit, then on a knee on the sideline, finally walking under his own power. He appeared to try to get back into the drill before the horn sounded for the end of the period. Tolbert later was running routes in the full team setting. So it looks like he had an injury scare there.
Okay.
Austin Jackson was seen missing team reps in the middle of practice as backup swing tackle Charlie Heck came in for him. That's par for the course, I guess.
I think that's the foot. Yeah, after like a couple of practices, he got to rest that foot. He's a broken foot last year.
Yeah. Dolchich and Sawyer were not seen at practice after they missed it yesterday too. Chris
Wow.
Bell, this is from the Sun Sentinel, by the way. Chris Bell and continues to increase the intensity of his work on the side of drills as he rehabs.
Okay.
Considerable amount of drop-off in fans because many had to return to work. Only about 1,000 spectators, including the summer camps for kids. Second play of full team, Malik Willis went play action and with good protection in the pocket. Delivered a deep pass over the top to Malik Washington, who got behind Juju Brents and Zane Anderson.
For 60, right?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't say the amount of yards. It says and made another play downfield over the middle, but it's debatable on whether Clylan Farrell would have had a practice sack on the play.
Yeah, it says 60-yard hit from Malik Willis to Washington, deep drop play action. Brent's tried to undercut it, but Willis had too much gas on the ball, and it sails over
That's
him.
good to
like
hear.
the
Gas in the
long
ball
term.
is not something we've seen in a while.
Yeah, man. Listen, man.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely
Like-
a positive, and there are aspects of this team that are considerably better. Like I said, people want to label me a two-and-ear, and that's farthest from the truth. I'm all for Malik Willis, and him being he's got traits. You know what I mean? He's got top end traits.
Oh, we got
he's
some.
very athletic. He's got a strong ass arm.
We got
But again, we're penciling him in to be a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson, and we just can't. That's too much. That's too much. credit
I
to give
won't
the
do
guy
that to
when he
Malik.
wants.
Check out this.
My
next
numbers are
blurb.
marginal for him.
Check out this next blurb. Dolphins wrapped up practice with late situational drill as the first team offense started on its own 30 with a minute 20 left. So a 2-minute drill. Well, minute 20 drill. Malik Willis completed passes to Jalen Reagor, Cole Turner, and Devon Achane to get the offense in a field goal range. Riley Patterson knocked through the 50-yard field goal.
Nice.
Zane Gonzalez, they gave him an opportunity to kick, and he also got the kick. Quinn Ewers then got his shot in the same situation. Major Burns elevated for a deflection on a contested jump ball to the sideline. Ethan Bonner came down with an interception on the first play of the drive.
Okay.
Let's see right here. Chop Robinson.
So that means the second
Patrick.
team can't protect yours. The second team O-line. They have trouble, man.
Chop bull rush Patrick Paul right into Willis's drop. Malik moves and has to throw it away. So the fact that he's bull rushing Patrick's a big deal, right? I mean, that's
Ewers can't look like Ewers can't get off a pass, Big C, since last week because like no one could protect for him.
He had a better day yesterday than Malik did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Says Ewers had a nice shot moving to his right to Atwell, who ran away from Marco Wilson's gain of 10.
I'm seeing not great stuff on Quinn here. It says Quinn Ewers sent a deep pass with no target in the area. Ethan Bonner and Michael Taft were nearby but couldn't get to the ball for the interception. Tutu Atwell may have run the wrong route. And that's something KP brought that up yesterday. He was talking about how it seemed like Ewers threw to a spot. And I'm wondering if that's kind of left over from last year's offense.
Maybe bigger strong day continues.
Well, if it's an option route.
Dropping a play against the run stuff. Willie Gay falls in the curl flat and separates the ball from Terrence Marshall.
Turnover drills. Get the ball out.
Jalen Tolbert is all alone on a crosser. Quinn overshoots it. Batages Johnny on the spot to catch the overthrow for a big gain. Willis tries to go ball to deep or a deep ball to Washington, but Miles Battle is sticky in the coverage and breaks it up. Dotson times the run blitz up and hammers the fullback to take him out of the equation. Zealer slips the Proctor block, the stuff at the line of scrimmage. Half cooks up a blitz that creates a pick six. Showed pressure, backed out, brought Zane Anderson for a free run. Willis gets it off, and as Cole Turner makes the diving attempt, he bats it.
If I may, Big C, that's what I'm talking about right there. When you put Zeke Biggers on the end, right? This is comparable to Patrick Graham and Flores, right? You have a big 6'8" defensive end covering up the left tackle. This is where Zane Anderson can come free on a blitz because you're not going to be able to disengage from Zeke Biggers. So when you have Zeke Biggers at end and you have Taffy or Trader coming on a blitz, this is similar to Eric Rowe coming on a blitz for Flores in the amoeba. You needed a big end who can take that space so a game can be performed, or you can do a game or a blitz off the edge. That's how Ogba got 9 untouched sacks. So Hafley's doing his thing.
I mean, I think Zeke Biggers is the biggest tackle we have. So I don't know if he's the one that should move to the outside.
Well,
And
that's what Hafley said he would do.
I mean, that said nothing about Biggers being
I
on
like
the
these
outside.
drills. I like these drill notes.
Willis has Douglas
Well,
over the middle, but the throw is
go ahead.
low. Jason Marshall punches one free on Ben Sims. The defense continues to put the ball on the ground. Defense cooks up another rush game, but Paul and Proctor pass it off nicely. Willis takes it, tries to fit a deep shot down the middle, but Ethan Bonner breaks it up. Willie Gay stacks the edge, gets off the block, and puts a stick on the back. Flashes in coverage and run game for Willie today. Defense is really opening up the menu today as Cam Good comes down the middle, working as the looper from the outside, had a free run at the quarterback. Chop immediately gets on the upfield shoulder of Charlie Heck and corners back in for the would-be sack on the first play from Willis in 2 minutes. Chop gets Heck again on the next play for another one. They let it play out, and Willis finds Sims for a big gain, but it was definitely a sack. So Chop back-to-back sacks.
That's
Willis
what's
now
up.
a nice,
Listen, man.
Willis now a fair far hash throw to perimeter to Rager in tight coverage for a catch and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. After a Proctor Frost start, turns 2nd and 1 into 2nd and 6. MALIK extends a play and throws a beautiful short across his body to Cole Turner to move the chains. With 18 seconds left, ball at the 42. MALIK to H-Hand out against Rodriguez, one-handed catch, then an incomplete pass. They bring out Patterson. He nails the 50-yarder you were talking about.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Ojobi has pressure on Ewers. First play of the 2-minute drill for them. Ball gets tipped by Major Burns, and Ethan Bonner sprints his butt off to the ball and is rewarded with the pick. Jalen Wright catches a swing.
That's 2 picks.
That was one by Ethan, but yeah. Jalen Wright catches a swing, and Alex Austin has an excellent tackle on him out in space. Marco Wilson feels as inbreaker coming by 2-2 from Quinn and jumps it and nearly picks it off.
I'm hearing a lot of good things about Marco Wilson.
Good wins around the edge, and Bigger splits a double team to sack Ewers again. Dominant defense in this 2-minute period. Patterson is
I think Biggers started to feel himself after he blocked the punt from the Jets. Biggers was starting to feel himself, bro.
You see,
yeah, I mean, listen, I think this team is definitely young. I like the head coaching we got. I like that, I think Malik Willis has an opportunity to be the quarterback for the foreseeable future. I think that we got a steady foundation. I just think that the lack of experience, the lack of talent in certain positions is going to hurt this team when push comes to shove. Yeah, we're going to be able to run the ball well. We got a pretty good offensive line on paper, and I think that they're going to produce at a pretty high level. But good teams are going to force us to do what we don't do well. In our wide receiver room, whether you want to have you want to believe it's better than what it is, our wide receiver room is not very good. And other teams got good defensive backfields. And they're not every team is built like the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, they might be making plays against our defensive backs, but our defensive backs is a weakness on this football team. So when push comes to shove and they stack the box and they force us to pass, or because we're losing in the game, we're forced to pass, it's not going to be a cakewalk, and it's going to be difficult. And I think that's what costs us. I just think with another Sullivan draft in a year that we can spend some free agency money on players that actually play for the Miami Dolphins, I think next year's the year. Now, you can look at this year as a disappointment because we don't win a bunch of games, but that's not the way that I choose to look at it. I'm choosing to look at this team in this year as us moving in the right direction, as an opportunity for our players to get better for the future. And I think we're building something sustainable. It's way bigger than the 2026 season. This isn't about winning games this year. This is about winning games next year, the year after that, the year after that, the year after that. It's about building something special. And I think that we're on the right track to doing that. And I'm very pleased where we're currently at. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it.
Hey, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go to a work call.
All right, Joe.
I'll catch y'all later.
All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here too. Like I said,
All right, Joe.
You know, I'm super stoked for this football team. And maybe you don't agree with my win total, but I think we're on the same page more than we're not. I like the things that Jeff Hafley is installing into this football team. I think it is going to make the teams tougher. I think he is making it so players are held accountable, and I love that too. So the whole culture here in Miami is definitely changed for the better, and I think that this team will continue to improve. I don't think that we're going to be a lousy team where teams just come in here and slap us around. I just think that when push comes to shove and when it's crunch time, we're going to have trouble finishing teams off or making that play to come from behind and win football games. I think that's the one area that we're truly lacking in. But don't worry, it's going to get better, and it's okay that we're in this situation, because people can deny it if they want. This was a rebuild 100%. We got a new head coach, a new general manager, a new quarterback. I don't know what a rebuild is if this isn't a rebuild, but we're definitely moving in the right direction, and we definitely, I feel like, are building something special here with the Miami Dolphins, and I haven't felt that way in a very long time. I was very high on the 2023 Dolphins, because of the amount of talent that we brought in, but it never felt like it was something that was going to last forever. I felt good about that year, and I even felt good about the 2024 team, which the 2024 season fell apart. But I never felt like we had changed the roster long term. This time, with this coaching staff, with this general manager, I feel like this is something that can make the Miami Dolphins good for the next 10 years. I appreciate having you guys on. Again, I like to have people on. I like to gauge their interests and their opinions. Maybe we don't always agree, but it's definitely a good time, and I think we all want the same things. And I think we're going to have a successful season. Maybe it's not in the win-loss column, but definitely going to have a successful season, in my opinion. Sharif, thank you. Only the real survive. Thank you. I'll see y'all tomorrow. You know what it is. Fins up. Peace.
Yeah. It's Big C. Fin Posse Podcast in the building. If you hating on the fans, turn this up louder. I grew up on Shula. Chalk lines, cold rain, Marino in the pocket, dropping dimes, pure flame. 7-2 perfect, you can't say a thing back. Undefeated on your head, living rent-free fact. Jason Taylor off the edge, helmets turning skyward. That thumping chest, every hit like a siren. You talking about rings, get your history straight. We the reason that the word perfect holds weight. It's that Fin Posse. Rage, turn the volume up. Hey, slick on Miami, you'll get called out tough. From the Orange Bowl ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse, rage, put respect on the name. Big C on the mic, lighting lanes in the flame. This the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. If you talking about the Fins, better get that story right. Yeah, Larry C. Sonka in the mud, blood on his mouthpiece. Ricky in the backfield, making whole crowd screech. Wake off the snap count, quarterbacks daydreaming. By the time they look up, all they see is teal streaming. You forgot about Grease, you forgot about Twilly, you forgot Nat Moore going up, getting silly from Marino to a lineage, same jersey. We've been airing that thing out since before you that 30. Rage, turn the volume up. Y'all slick from Miami, you get called out tough. From the orange boat ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. In posse, rage, put respect on the name. Big C on the mic, lighting lanes in the flame. This the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. If you talking about the Fins, better get the story right. This for the diehards, slamming doors on the loss. This for the old heads, still quoting Shula talk. This for the kids wearing jerseys in June, waiting all year just to scream in the room. It's that Fin Posse rage, turn the volume up. Y'all slick on Miami, you'll get called out tough. From the orange boat ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse rage, put respect on the name. Big C in the crew, let them drown in the shame. It's the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. Fin Posse podcast, get the Dolphin story right. Woo! Hey, hey.